This is the Reverend Dr. Gilberto Rosado. Dios le bendiga. Este es Reverendo Dr. Gilberto Rosado. Welcoming you to another broadcast. At this hour, we have our bilingual broadcast, our teaching in English and Spanish. So we ask that you be patient as we translate live on the fly between languages. Esta es la hora que damos la enseñanza en inglés y español y pedimos que tengas pues paciencia mientras que traduzcamos de un idioma al otro. Aproveche y aprende el otro idioma. While we're at it, you can learn the other language as well. Es un beneficio de sintonizarse con nuestro ministerio. It's a benefit, an added benefit I should add, of tuning in to our ministry. God bless you all and welcome. Dios le bendiga a todos. Bienvenido a este programa de hoy. Welcome to this program today. As we do part 2, we're doing the 343 initiative. Estamos trabajando en la iniciativa 343 o 3x3. Y vamos a continuar. Esta es la segunda parte. Vamos a hablar hoy ciertos detalles de cómo esta organización va a eliminar los problemas de la pobreza, del desalojamiento y del hambre. So today we'll be going into a few more details on exactly how this organization proposes to solve the homelessness, hunger, and poverty issue. Now, we are going to have what you call a part of it that is not going to be disclosed. This is the core technology, if you will. That part will not be disclosed, but the general things will be. So that's what we'll be doing today on our program. Hoy vamos a dar las pautas generales de la organización, o sea, cómo la organización va a dirigirse a tratar el problema en cuestión. El pregunta o la cuestión de solucionar el problema de el hambre, del desalojamiento y del pobreza. Pero hay un cuerpo o un centro técnico, un proceso que nosotros tenemos que no va a ser hablado, no vamos a divulgarla. Y de veras que sin eso esto no va a trabajar. Alguien puede tratar usted piensa, ¿por qué esto está diciendo a todo el mundo? Y entonces todo el mundo lo copia. Bueno, entonces en una forma queremos que todo el mundo lo haga. Pero el punto clave que hace funcionar esto bien no lo estoy divulgando de todo modo. Entonces no importa en realidad. Para eso tienen que estar con nuestra organización. So even though I'll be discussing the way this organization has solved the homelessness, hunger, and poverty issue, there is still a core technology, what is called a core technology, which will not be divulged. Simply because of what its nature is. It is a core technology, and it really is not something that it's easily translatable into practical use by someone who's never even gotten close to what we have. So it doesn't make any sense. So that part is not going to be discussed at all. But there is an engine, if you will, behind everything that we're discussing that makes sure that it works. Okay? So that is the stuff that is always going to be proprietary. ese motor, ese centro que hay detrás de todo esto, es algo propietario y eso nunca no es fácil copiarlo ni tampoco lo vamos a estar hablando ahora porque no tienen habilidad la mayoría de personas en la audiencia de implementarlo simplemente. So understand that. So what we're discussing today is basically putting the organization together. We're going to be discussing parameters and basically how people will work with 343 and how 343 is going to work with people. But the engine that's core technology that ensures that all of this works together and is successful, that is not going to be disclosed. We don't need to disclose it because it's not something that most people can do anything with at this point. But it is the stuff that ensures that this works. So basically, in the basic sense, people who want to solve, who want to do something, who want to take part in eliminating and addressing this issue in your community, okay, you need to join the 343 initiative. That's the bottom line, because otherwise you're just trying to copy it. It's not copyable. The outward things that I'm going to be talking about, of course they're copyable, but they won't be effective. You're going to have the same thing that is already out there and to one degree or another. There are some differences in this, but what really makes it work is the other stuff that we're not going to be talking about here. So the impulse, or it behooves you, if you're interested in actually being part of something that's going to make a difference, is to join the 343 initiative. It's as simple as that, and that's the bottom line. Así que si alguna persona en la audiencia quiere tomar un papel más amplio en las soluciones que vamos a estar hablando de estos problemas del desalojamiento, del hambre y de la pobreza, pues la única manera de hacerlo es uniéndose a esta iniciativa, porque no va a ser eficiente solo tratar de copiar lo que ustedes van a ver hoy, porque en realidad lo que están viendo es solamente lo de afuera. Es el equipaje, el uniforme, para no tener otra palabra mejor decir, la ropa, el vestimento de la organización. Pero lo que hace funcionar eficientemente eso es una tecnología integral de nuestra iglesia, de nuestro ministerio. Y eso no lo vamos a hablar hoy ni en otros momentos. Nunca se habla, hay ocasión de hablar de eso en nuestras programaciones típicamente. Así que la única manera que pueden ser efectivos, usar esto con eficiencia en tu lugar, en tu ciudad, en tu país, es uniéndose al 343. Esa es la única manera. Now, as we said before, the 343 is not restrictive in membership. So it's not, even though this is run and ministered by the church, we don't have a church requirement for participation, for volunteerism, for being a member of 343. You don't have to be a church member in order to help other people. I mean, this is ridiculous, right? to even to say that you need to do that. It's just simply you understand that it is administered by the church. That's it, because some people have an issue. Oh, is the church involved? Well, yes, the church did this. You guys didn't. So, but the church has the solution here. But other than that, That's it. You're going to have to deal with me. But outside of that, you're helping people and actually solving their problems. So, you just have to deal with it. What is more important to you? To help people get out of their situations for good, or you want to just put your foot down and you don't want anything to do with a church? It's ridiculous, you see. So again, I'm willing. I'm the pastor of this church. I'm willing to work with you. You want to help people? I'm willing to work with you. So if you can be as honorable and as decent as I am, then work with us. It's as simple as that. Okay. Nosotros estamos abiertos a que trabajen con la iniciativa. Aunque la iniciativa, el problema es que mucha gente tiene problemas. Esto es de la iglesia. Esto es un programa de la iglesia. Y la realidad es sí. Si ustedes hubieran inventado esta manera de solucionar las cosas, pues estuviera bien, ¿no? Pero no lo hicieron. La iglesia sí lo hizo. Y esta iglesia en particular. Así que la única manera es que yo estoy abierto a que ustedes trabajen con nosotros. Ahora, usted puede dignificarse, o sea, tener madurez e interés suficiente en tu prójimo para trabajar con nosotros, entonces está bien. Y eso incluye otra iglesia, otra fe. This also includes other faiths, other churches. Because a lot of churches, a lot of faith, it's not our thing. This is a different church and a different whatever, and so people go hungry, people are suffering, but you want to stand by your statement of faith. You can keep that. You're not doing anything. You're not doing what God wants you to do, and not doing what Christ would want you to do. What would Christ do, right? Así que entonces hay gente, iglesia, que porque nosotros no somos de su índole, como ustedes son, o de su misma fe, pues entonces su opinión que se muera la gente. ¿Ves? Porque usted quiere imponerse su fe, su creencia, y no es la misma que la mía, y entonces no vamos a trabajar. ¿Ves? Esa es falta de amor, es falta de entendimiento, y realmente ¿qué credibilidad, qué fuerza hay en sus pensamientos, en sus creencias si usted tiene ese pensar? No tiene ninguna fuerza. Yo sí, yo puedo trabajar con ateo no me afecta a mí. Quieren ayudar al prójimo, bueno, vamos a trabajar. I don't have a problem with anyone, even an atheist. An atheist doesn't impact me in any way. You want to help your fellow man, then come. And so we'll work together because we have a common purpose, and that is to help our fellow man. We're human. We have to help each other. We're brothers. Believe it or not, we're brothers. I believe because Adam and Eve was the first couple. It's my belief. You believe that we came out of an evolutionary soup. Whichever way, we're still family. It don't matter. Are we going to help each other survive or what? This is bottom line. So I'm very straightforward in this. The 343 initiative is an initiative for all of mankind. El 343 es una iniciativa para toda la humanidad. Okay, this is bigger than just one church and as a statement of faith or anything like that. This is way bigger than that. This is a worldwide initiative. Esto es una iniciativa global. Y no tenemos ni el tiempo ni la paciencia ya de estar todos divididos en su perspectiva esquina, trabajando sin efectividad, sin eficiencia. Cada uno tratando de alar aquí y allá y problemas de fondo y otro, todo eso miseria, que cada uno apuntando el dedo a otro y ya. Nosotros eso ya está cansado, ya eso es viejo. So we're tired of the old system, the old division of everybody and all these churches and beliefs and this and that. And we still have poor people. We still have poverty. We still have hunger. We still have homelessness, all right? But we have thousands and thousands of churches. We have thousands and thousands of beliefs, right? That we have. If we had $1 for each belief, that could solve the poverty issue right there. That's how bad this thing is. So we have more beliefs than money out there. We have more people in belief than we have people actually doing the good work for their neighbor. That's what's going on. So what's the point in having those beliefs? It's garbage. Our fellow man is dying, abandoned in the street, but you're praising God in the church. So, where is the sense in that? Así que nosotros tenemos gente adorando en la iglesia, están en los sábados, y si no están los sábados, están en los domingos, y si no son en los domingos, están en los miércoles, lo que sea. Y el prójimo nuestro está en la calle muriéndose de hambre, pobre, desnudo, desalojado, sin decencia, autoestima suficiente para levantarlo del piso. Y nosotros adorando a Dios en el culto. Ese culto fue tremendo. Hermano, tu enseñanza fue tremendo. El otro, tu predicación fue tremendo. Y esto, lo otro, todo es. Y la gente afuera en la calle, abandonado, familias, no hay nadie que le ayude porque están todos en la iglesia. There's no one helping this family out there in the street because you're in the church. And if you're not in church, you're working for money, right? And then you don't know what to do. You don't know how to help these people effectively. So this is we solve this issue by first stopping the division, stopping the things that divide us, and focusing on what should bring us together. If you see in the logo there, you see the 3, 4, 3, and you see it's all nice together. See, and it forms the shield, right? Así que tú ves las 3, 4, 3 aquí en la emblema junto, right? Y nosotros no queremos divisiones, queremos unirnos en propósito. That's it. Santo sea el Señor. La iglesia, yo tengo mis enseñanzas cuando lo tengo. I have my teachings. The church has its teachings when it has its teachings. When we're helping people, we're helping people. It's not time for the Bible teaching. It's not time for me to be, this is a matter of faith, this and that. That's not the time for it. It's time for me to extend a hand and help my fellow man. That's it. So that's what the 343 initiative is, and it's the reason why we did, even though it's administered by the church, it is being developed as a separate organization. So por eso la 343, aunque es administrada por la iglesia, está siendo creada separado, como una entidad separada, para afirmar que el propósito de 343 es ayuda a la humanidad, sencillamente. So the 343 is a simple help for humanity. It's a solution administered by our church. However, it is not the church, right? It is the church helping man, but anyone, and we're helping man by instructing and helping others to help their fellow man. So even though it's an extension of the church, a ministry of the church, it is in itself its own purposeful organization. And people will join it, the people joining 343 are joining it to help others, to help their fellow man. Amen? So that's why it's put together in the way it's being put together. El propósito de 343 es unir a la persona, ayudar a su prójimo, es administrado por la iglesia, pero no es la iglesia. Y pues es un ministerio, es algo que la iglesia puso, organizó, y entonces, pero está abierto a todas las personas, a toda la humanidad, y para ayudar a todo, y todo doesn't matter what their faith is, we're helping everyone, doesn't matter. It's a human being who needs help. Simple as that. Es un ser humano que necesita ayuda y ese es el propósito de eso. So it's very pure. The 343 initiative is very pure in its perspective and in its vision. Very pure. It just has its sole perspection and sole purpose. Okay? And so that is where we're focusing on. So así que la 343 tiene su enfocamiento muy preciso y muy enfocada en ayudar al prójimo en esas tres áreas. And it's those three areas. There is a fourth. Well, you see the four there. Okay? That is there, but it is three main areas, three problems that are being addressed. The fourth, as you'll see later on as we discuss it, is an overlay, just like you see in the graph. Everything in the graphic is exactly what's happening. It's an overlay that brings everything, melds everything together sensibly. Así que el 4 es lo que combina todas las cosas en un fluimiento, un proceder, lógica, okay, que nosotros administramos. And it's basically the 4 is where the church is involved. The 4 is the church. And that is where everything is managed together and everything forms the 1. So that's why the 4 is in the middle. Así que el 4 está en el medio, porque el 4 es lo que unifica todo el esfuerzo y toda la interacción y los resultados. So the 4 is the center hub which administers the programs. It melds everything together administratively, and then it guarantees, like I said, that core technology ensures that the results are had. Okay, so that's the guarantee, that's the guarantor that this thing works. Now, the 3-3, if you had the 3-3, that's all we're going to be talking about. We're not going to go into the 4 here, but we're going to do the 3 and 3. So anyone in any organization could copy the 3 and 3. Cualquier organización, nosotros vamos a cubrir los 3 y 3 y cualquier organización puede copiar los 3 y 3, pero la clave que asegura que todo trabaja eficientemente está en el 4, y eso no lo voy a divulgar en ninguna fuente así público. So the 4 is really the secret sauce. It's the thing that holds everything together and makes sure that it works. But we will be discussing the 3 and 3 publicly. So that's that. So like I said, there's no reason, if you have an organization and you're trying to help either the homeless or those in poverty or those who are hungry, if you have anyone or parts of anyone of all of them or whatever, and you want to be part of something that's very efficient, that's really going to solve it for your communities, there's no reason for you not to join. The organization can join the 343 initiative. La organización, ustedes pueden tener una organización que está ayudando en alguna forma, parte o enteramente en una de las áreas o en todas las áreas, y quieres pues tener participación en algo que pues prometa ser la solución para su área, ustedes pueden unir la organización a la nuestra, ser miembro organizacional. You can be a organizational, institutional member of the 343 initiative and participate. And that way your community and your demographic can benefit from the efficiency of the 343 initiative. And that's fine. There's no, you don't lose any hair. It's no, I mean, if the purpose of your organization is to help these people, then help them. This is another resource. Así que si su organización está para ayudar a las personas en necesidad, pues entonces únese. No hay razón que su organización no se une para el propósito de ayudar con eficiencia a esta audiencia, a ese demográfico. Así que y nosotros estamos abiertos inglés y español a todo el mundo. So we're open in English and Spanish language, all countries. As long as somebody can speak to me in English or Spanish, you choose one, but choose one of them. Until I learn some Chinese or something else, we're still trying to get some more languages under our belt. But until then, as long as there's some communication that we can have, you can bring this 343 initiative to your part of the world and help the people in need where you are. Así que cualquier organización, cualquier iglesia, cualquier agencia puede formar enlace con el 343 y empezar a proveer ayuda para su parte del mundo bajo nuestro régimen. All right. So that is the beginnings, and again, a little explanation about the logo shield of the 343 initiative. This is what you're seeing is the PDF file. Esto lo que están viendo es el librito que estoy haciendo como el manual de orientación para los miembros, los participantes que vienen a trabajar en el 343 iniciativa. So this is the part of the members orientation that they would get as coming into the 343 initiative. And you see here, Solving Hunger, Homelessness, and Poverty is the subtitle. And then, of course, the Ministry of the Sheepfold Pentecostal Church Incorporated, TSPCI.org, and in cooperation with Medio Educacional, que es el Arithmetai, la Universidad Arithmetai. I got a little technical thing to let you guys know that we're having a thunderstorm right now, and sometimes it disconnects the internet when that happens. It can happen, it may not happen, but we're expecting issues. Restream already announced that they're having technical problems as well, not because of this thunderstorm, but other internet-based problems. So I expect we expect to have technical issues with the broadcast. It's not me, it's the environment. So that's what's happening. So be prepared for that. Be patient. If we disconnect, just reload, try again in a couple of a minute or two. Why not go and run and do some waterworks over there and come back, and we should be back up, okay? I'll try to keep coming back in if I'm knocked out. Así que si a mí estamos en un tempestad ahorita fuerte, también el sistema de emisión ha anunciado ya que tienen problemas técnicos, no por la tempestad, sino técnico de internet. Así que en cualquier momento podemos caer, salir de la sintonización. No se preocupen, toman agua, hagan algo ahí y vuelven y reinician a ver si ya estoy conectando otra vez, ¿ok? In any case, we're recording this, so it will be put into an archive. If the YouTube doesn't keep it together, I'll re-upload it to the YouTube channel TSPCI. Así que si en alguna razón estoy grabando, si en alguna razón el video se corta y se destruye así, yo voy a levantar o encargar el video a YouTube en su forma entera, así más o menos, pues no empecé en el principio, para que lo tengan, para poder leerlo después, okay, o oírlo. So the 343 initiative, what I did was, as I do in most of my things, I reuse stuff I've already done, and I'm also doing stuff ahead of time. So what I did was take out of the recent Pennsylvania incorporation that we did, and I'm going to take some of the text in the incorporation papers of our newest Pennsylvania church, and I'm going to adapt it for 343 for this manual. But also, as I'm doing this manual, actually I'm also pre-setting the incorporation papers for the 343 initiative, right? So that when we go to that process, we will already have the incorporation papers practically done. So that way you kill 2 and 3 birds with one stone. Así en el manual estoy añadí una copia de un parte de la incorporación de la iglesia en Pennsylvania nueva que hemos empezado allá, y lo estoy incorporando aquí para modificarla para el uso de 343, pero a la misma vez como lo estamos usando en el manual, pero también ya va a ser ya preparado para los papeles de 343 para ser incorporada, right? So así estoy haciendo una cosa, pero en realidad estoy haciendo 2 y 3 cosas a la misma vez, right? Esto también I'm putting the highlight on what I'm doing, because I'm also with this teaching, I'm also teaching the leaders here and anyone else who's watching who is a person that needs to create things and do things, how to do 2 or 3 things at the same time. Things don't have to be separate from each other. They can all be together in one effort, and then you make different things with it, right? So I'm showing you how that is done. And as well, we have the video, right? So the video is being recorded. It's being transcribed while I'm speaking. See how many things are happening? A lot of things are going on here at the same time. I'm speaking once. You see that? Estoy hablando una vez. Estoy escribiendo una vez, right? Pero muchas cosas se está haciendo a la misma vez. So eso es algo que quería yo también, a través de estas enseñanzas, demostrar a los líderes, porque yo sé que hay líderes que quieren hacer cosas, ¿no?, para la iglesia, para el ministerio, pero el tiempo le priva. So, estas son maneras que yo he desarrollado para aprovechar el tiempo. So these are methods that I use to save time, to be more efficient in time usage, and for the benefit of the leaders and those of you who are creators out there, so that you can also do things efficiently. Never do something in one plane. Nunca haga algo de un plano. Whenever you do something, make sure you're doing 4 or 5 things at the same time. To get 4 or 5 things going from that one thing that you're doing. And that's how you become efficient in your time management, time use. And you multiply the productivity of your time. Así que tú multiplicas la productividad de su tiempo. I mean, a lot of you guys are learning things in school. I'm going to give you an example just to give a side note before continuing. Como una nota de lado, antes de seguir continuando. Muchos de ustedes, como estos niños en la escuela, es incredible, but mucho de lo que se está estudiando en la escuela puede ser cosas que implementan para otras cosas, pero no lo están haciendo. Most of the things these kids are doing in school, those things can be used for other things, other creations, other productivity, results from the same thing they're doing in school. But they're not doing that. And that's a shame. A lot of your kids like to draw, for example. Muchos de tus niños les gusta dibujar. ¿Por qué no están haciendo un libro de escrito sobre los dibujos que han hecho? Why aren't you writing a book, parent, mommy, daddy, on the drawings that they've done? They're already drawing the pictures. One of the biggest problems of people writing a book that they would like to have illustrated is getting someone to make the pictures. You guys have it set. This is how God put everything in order, and you have no excuse. And then later on down the road, you're thinking, why can't I do something, get something to make money or help my kids go through college? They've been drawing pictures all their lives. You've done nothing. They've been producing gold, and you have squandered time and what they've produced. Usted durante toda esa vida, esos niños han producido oro. Le están dibujando, ilustrando cosas, y usted Entonces después no saben, no hay dinero, quieren ir para la universidad, no es suficiente. Pero toda la vida han dibujado cosas que ustedes podrían haber amontonado y puesto en una secuencia y hecho una historia. The same thing you could have done and made a video of the pictures and then narrating the story as it goes along. It's a production. $5 a view. You go and put it on one of these sites that charges for you to watch a movie or something like that. Somebody did. You put it behind it, $5 to watch it, and promote the thing and just let it go. And then all that money that comes in, it goes to the college fund. I mean, and that's just the beginning. I mean, you could have books made, stories written up. You can hire someone to make the story. $5 on Fiverr, whatever. And write a story for this picture. Write a story for this picture. Write a story for this picture. Okay, and then you put it and sell it on Amazon, for goodness sakes. Así que usted puede coger los dibujos de estos niños y entonces si no sabe escribir, usted emplea a alguien en Fiverr, que es una plataforma que gente hace cosas por $5 y más ahora, pero antes era solo $5. Tú puedes encontrar todavía por $5 a alguien que te escribe una historieta y tú le das el foto, mira, este es el dibujo, quiero una historia con este dibujo por los $5. That's it. Ellos te dan la historia, tú tienes el retrato, haga eso 10 veces, 20 veces con 20 de diferentes dibujos y ya tiene un librito que usted lo pone a vender en Amazon. Es que Dios te está dando tanta riqueza y no sé qué hacer. God gives you so much abundance of opportunity, and all you're doing is squandering away because our minds are dumb. We look at dumbness, and that's the problem. That's the problem with TV. Y ese problema con la televisión, que usted ve tanta televisión que ya está entorpecido, no piensa. You see so much TV, and after a while you're dumb. Because TV doesn't make you smart. TV doesn't make you smart. It makes you dumb. The more TV you watch, the more dumb you are. Okay? And when the problems come, you don't know how to solve them. Okay? Cuando los problemas vienen, tú no sabes solucionarlo. Porque todo es, even games. Now, the games that don't make you think, they dumbify you as well. Los juegos también son iguales, que te hacen entorpecer, no te ayudan a pensar. There's certain games that help you think, but most of the games are entertaining. And it does matter how you approach a game. Y también importa cómo tú llegas a un juego. Si hace un juego para entretenerse, pues es embrutecimiento. If you go to a game to entertain yourself, well, then that's dumbing yourself down, right? So you have to make choices. Tienes que escoger todo. Todo es una decisión. La música que tú oyes también. The music you hear is also another thing. Okay? You make the decision. You're making the soup. What you put in it is the way it's going to taste. Lo que tú echas en la sopa es lo que vas a ver eso. So, tienes que entender. So, la música que tú oyes cambia el sabor de lo que hay. So, si la música no tiene mucho contenido, pues no va a haber mucho contenido. Si la música que oye tiene mucho contenido, entonces te da mucho contenido. Esto es sencillo. So it's a very simple thing. If it was hard, I would understand. That's a given. This is a hard thing. But complicated music makes the brain more complicated, so it can handle more complex thought and problem solving. Simple. But if you're going to go to some music that always is the same, repeat, it's the same thing, same beat, repeat, ba-boom, 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 well, ba-boom. Hey, you got a big problem now. How are you going to fix it? Ba-boom. That's it. Again, this is a no-brainer. You don't need much brains to figure out the sense that I'm making here. Usted no necesita ser muy inteligente para calcular lo que estoy diciendo, que tiene validez. Si tú oyes música sencilla, simple, pues tu mente va a ser sencillo y simple. Si tú oyes música más complicada, pues entonces tu mente va a pensar más complejamente, no que te va a complicar las cosas, pero si no, tú vas a poder comprender más, porque así trabaja el cerebro como músculo. So your brain is like a muscle. If you give it more to work on, then it's stronger. If you give it little to work on, it's weak. It's simple. This is simple stuff. All right. So that's why you see that when I do something, I'm doing 10 things at the same time. Así que tú ves que cuando yo hago algo, quiero hacer 10 cosas a la misma vez. Because I can handle it, number one. And number two, I got to save time. Hey. Yo tengo que guardar el tiempo. Por eso yo quiero hacer 10 cosas a la misma vez. Que yo tengo que ahorrarme el tiempo. Tengo que ser eficiente en lo que hago, el tiempo que hago. Especially when you get married, there's demands on your time, man. I've been fighting tooth and nail, believe me. Así que cuando uno se casa también hay demanda sobre su tiempo. Yo he estado peleando ahí, diente por el pelo y la diente, o lo que sea, no sé cómo decir eso en español, pero luchando cada segundo, mijo. Esto es real, este lucha es real. Para el tiempo. Oh my goodness. And so anyway, so let's save time now and get back to what we're doing. Get back to work. Okay, so that's why I do that. So I hope you guys appreciate, the things I'm teaching. So again here, we're just going to do the 343 initiative. And I'm not going to go through all of this right here now, but it's just for me to work on during the week. Whenever I have a few minutes, I just open it up and start filling in. Initiative Incorporated. So, and basically, we're just going to go into, let me just make that bold. I'll be changing the other details later on. And we'll just change here the first thing here. And again, this okay, so now on this second, it says to associate ourselves for the founding of one or more, and we're going to say branches. Again, we're changing this into branches, right? One or more branches of centers for community education towards solving, and now we get the solving hunger, homelessness, and poverty. I'm going to put that in here. Of course, we'll reset the font. Arial 10. And again, I'll do a complete work over on the fonts, before we finalize on that. Okay, and so this will be wholly under the guidance and ecclesiastical authority of our preceding governing church authority. And so that would be the way it will go and be incorporated. And right, sorry about that. We have the children who don't understand English with us today. So, that's another organization I have to start. We have to solve that problem. All right, so let's continue. Tenemos a los niños aquí que no entienden en inglés. So, es toda otra organización que tengo que empezar. All right, so... All right, perdón, todavía no entienden inglés. All right, this is the thing that we. So, it says to organize. The church would be doing the missionary work, but what we're going to organize is charitable and human service work, right? Here and abroad. So we're going to put that by teaching and training others to help their fellow man as taught by Jesus Christ by the gospel of Jesus Christ. And then here I will put a scripture verse, and I'll put in capital so it can be part of that. Because in essence, the organization will be a testament to the preaching of the gospel, the doing of the gospel. Así que esta organización, aunque sea abierta en membresía para cualquier persona, cualquier fe, o sin fe, todavía no cambia la situación de que esta es un esfuerzo iniciado por la iglesia de Jesucristo. So, de todo modo, Dios es glorificado. So, in any case, it doesn't matter that we are open to all. Even atheists can come and work in this organization and help their fellow man. It will be engraved in its inception here that this organization was created based on the tenets of the gospel of Jesus Christ. And so in all ways and in all time, God is glorified through this work. Así que el trabajo glorifica a Dios porque le estamos dando gloria y honra a Dios, porque esto fue iniciado por su palabra. Anyway, listen, this work is being done because of God's word. Bottom line, the solution is from God's word. La solución es de la palabra de Dios. So God gets the glory, he gets the credit. Así que Dios recibe la gloria, él recibe ese crédito, porque esto es la solución de Dios, no es mía. This isn't my solution. It would be great. I created the first NFT that is a game, and now the first NFT that is a real estate investment vehicle. I created that. There's two things that I created myself. Okay, in recent time, right now, right this past month. I think in the past 30 days, I've created two unique and first-time NFTs that's never been seen before. This thing here is I can't take credit for. I'm putting it together. That's it. The thing was put together by Reverend Gilberto Rosado, but I can't take credit for the solution, because the solution was from God. Okay? Así que yo cojo crédito para lo que yo he hecho. Yo he hecho el primer NFT, que es un juego, el primer NFT, que es una invención en bienes y raíces. Tengo eso a mi crédito. Yo lo inventé, yo lo creé. Pero esto lo inventó Dios. Esta es la solución de Dios. Yo lo estoy componiendo, pero Dios es el que instó y nos dio este solución. Yo soy como Noé. Noé no inventó el barco, pero eso lo dio Dios, las instrucciones, ¿ves? Solo que Noé lo puso junto. Yo lo estoy poniendo junto aquí. Dios proveyó los detalles. So I'm like Noah. So Noah didn't invent the boat. He just took God's instructions and he put it together. But God is the one who gave him the blueprints, you see? And this is the same thing. God has given us the solution to hunger and homelessness and poverty. All I'm doing is putting it together, and formalizing. That's all we're doing. He's the one who gave us that. So he gets all the credit and glory. So it's locked in there for all the following centuries, however long this planet lasts, without blowing itself up to smithereens. And it will always say and testify that God is the one that has started this. This is founded on God's word and his truth and his wisdom. So, para todo el resto de el tiempo que tenemos aquí sobre la tierra, esta organización va a decir en sus papeles de formalización que Dios es el que dio esta solución. Esta solución es de Dios. Estamos dando la gloria a Dios. Él nos dio la solución y gracias a Dios tenemos esto. So that's the one thing that everybody's going to have to deal with. You got to deal with it. The truth is the truth. A lot of people don't know, like the Boy Scouts, I believe. I mean, you have other organizations like the Salvation Army. You have some other organizations out there that people assume or think that they're just regular like organizations, secular organizations, when in fact they were started by churches. They were started by church people, Christian people under Christian ideas, like the Alcoholics Anonymous. It started with Christian tenets in it. And now you see it everywhere. You see it in different churches, right? You see different churches. Different churches have an AA and stuff like that. But, this was originally started by one group and one faith or person of one faith. But it's just that, listen, when you're helping our fellow man, you just cannot just keep things divided and keep dividing ourselves. So we need to extend the help out there. All right. So we're going to change these things around here, to incorporate the nonprofit tenor of this organization. Okay, so to ordain. This is very churchy here, so we're going to change it, but to establish leaders, to train and establish leaders, and we're going to have also instructors, and we're going to have mentors. Vamos a tener líderes, instructores y mentores. Is Victor here? Yeah. Okay. And we also will have counselors, right? Because you need to have counselors when you're dealing with the public. And then we can keep some things. We can establish radio, TV programs, also without any discrimination, discredit to anybody. We can just keep that in there. To serve our community members, members classes, you put courses, training programs, meeting place or places, right, for educational for the sharing of educational ideas and community solutions. Okay. And again, these things will still be worked on as we go along. All of our helps and communications, all of our helps, instruction, and communication. Let's go here. Communication, that, and dealings or interactions with the public will be done under the love, tenets, and compassion of our Lord Jesus Christ. And so, in that sense, it is a Christian organization in that traditional sense. So, estamos desarrollando esta organización principalmente como una organización cristiana bajo las enseñanzas del amor, de la compasión de nuestro Señor Jesucristo. Eso es lo que está diciendo en esta parte aquí. Otra vez estoy cambiando usando las palabras usados en nuestras corporaciones de iglesia a adoptarla para esta nueva organización que tiene su fin de ayudar al prójimo bajo el régimen de la iglesia, pero no es en sí una iglesia en sí, sino es un ministerio que todos pueden participar en eso. Okay, so we're establishing leaders, instructors, and mentors. Again, these things I will rework it later on. Now, here's to establish centers. Basically, we're going to set things up more or less like the churches, because I have set up the churches to be most things in the community, to help the community. So this is one of the helps in the communities. And so the things that we're going to say that we're able to do, or it's within our purpose to be done, is going to be very similar, except for like establishing houses of worship. We don't need to say that. Now, the truth is that, when we have meetings, certain meetings, it's a meeting place. So, a meeting place will have my face on it on a Sunday on the screen in the front. Así que en las reuniones, en los salones de reuniones que esta organización va a tener, yo voy a estar enseñando los domingos, los sábados. So, eso no vamos a decir que estamos estableciendo iglesia, pero sí los lugares de reuniones van a servir muchos propósitos en la comunidad. So to establish community centers, right? And that's also another thing. Es otra cosa también que quería hablar. Aquí estoy diciendo que vamos a establecer centros comunitarios. And it's funny because when I went to Panama, cuando yo fui a Panamá, en uno de mis tiempos ahí, meditación con el Señor, one of my meditation periods with the Lord, I drew down, the Lord gave me a vision of really what is needed. And so I drew a picture, a drawing, because I'm not much of an artist that way, of the perfect community center, actually. The perfect way for the ministry of the church to be in Panama and in countries like Panama, in other words, third world countries. Así que cuando yo estuve en Panamá, el Señor me dio una visión de qué tipo de lugar o ministerio comunitaria se necesitaba en un país como Panamá o del tercer mundo en general. Y dibujé lo que era necesario en la comunidad. Y otra manera de decirlo son centros comunitarios. Now, no eran lo único. Hay mucha iglesia, mucho movimiento que tienen centros comunitarios. Pero este centro era particular. Tenía diferencia porque el ministerio un poquito diferente de casi todos los demás. So because of our unique differences, our uniqueness in our ministry, even though there are many community centers in different parts of the world and different communities, ours was going to be very distinct. I mean, you have to admit, even now, if I taught half the things that I know that I can teach, it would be totally different than anything anyone else has out there. So again, the community centers that we're planning to do, that's in our vision to do, are going to be very, very interesting and very important for their community. Now, with the 343 initiative, you can imagine, the 343 initiative now is another effort that adds to the uniqueness of what we're able to do in other countries. So, estos centros que estamos para hacer en otro país ahora tienen otra distinción. So we can use the churches' community centers as well as develop community centers, separately from the church or before even the church gets there. There's some countries we're not in. So it maybe first there'll be a 343 center there. Who knows? And through the 343 center, we establish churches. Or where we do have three church centers, we simply just input the 343 initiative. Así que este 343 se puede utilizar en lugares que ya tenemos centro de iglesia o centro comunitaria, pero también puede ser introducido en un país donde no tenemos iglesia y establecer a través de estos centros de 343 nuestro ministerio como iglesia allá. So either way, one way or the other, we will have a presence in these countries that request our program to be in effect in their communities. So to establish community centers, then we can have and I'm going to use the children's Bible experience also as a way to, because in some places we have to go through more hurdles to get to to do like a child center or something like that. But under the church, a lot of things are exempted. So we're going to use that. That's another reason that we want to do things under the church's supervision or authority, so that we have the benefit of the exemptions that the church has. Así que queremos hacer cierta cosa bajo el cobertura de la iglesia, porque en algunos lugares, aún en los Estados Unidos, algunos estados, la iglesia tiene más libertad para hacer ciertas cosas. Y así quiero utilizar ese cobertura de la iglesia para también poder hacer algunas cosas más fácil, más ligeramente, en vez de estar haciendo más papelero y mucha aplicación y todo eso. So we want to keep this. We want to keep the Children's Bible Experience and Education Center. We don't need to do the Bible Institute because that doesn't matter. And in a way, we don't have to put the children's thing. As long as the church goes in there, it could be under the church anyway. So it's two ways we're attacking this. So it doesn't matter, one way or the other. So hay dos maneras de dirigirnos aquí. Donde quiera que haya un 343, podemos traer también, entrar a la iglesia y entonces a través de la iglesia hacer estas cosas. O hacerlo a través de la 343 en sí. So, lo quiero poner para hacerlo más fácil. Si una manera no trabaja, el otro, right? So, what we're going to do, we're going to be redundant here. And the redundancy is to ensure that it gets done one way or the other. Okay, so that's the reason I'm going to leave it in there. Community education workshops. Let's get back to that screen. Community education workshops, home-based education. We're going to do the same stuff. So the 343 initiative will be taught in home education, just like we do our Understanding the Bible and Religious Philosophy class. Así que como estamos dando la clase de Entendiendo la Biblia y la filosofía religiosa en los hogares, y así también como el taller financiera, la recuperación financiera, and just like the financial recovery workshop, we're going to be in the homes and teaching people about the 343 initiative. 343 initiative will also have a home mentorship program where we are preparing individuals in the community to become aware of the community, to become active in their community, and to become involved in the 343 solution for homelessness, hunger, and poverty. So that's one of the constructs, and a little bit of the core technology, as a matter of fact. So we did sneak something in there for you guys to see. Which will also be implemented in the 343 initiative. Okay, so centers of theology we take care of with the church, particularly. It says religious-based centers of learning, which also can be just put into the church. Under the church, pastoral houses, we don't need this, but we will have worker houses. We're going to have volunteer worker houses, worker and staff housing. We're going to put that as that. Okay, and then we're going to have houses for the aged, which is a thing that still would be part of the 343 initiative as well. It deals with homelessness even among the aged, which shouldn't be happening, but just in case. And it also opens up that venue for solutions. Vamos a dejar esto de las casas para ancianos, aunque en lo desalojado no debe de haber ancianos, pero puede haber. Y de todo modo abre otros caminos para asistencia y ayuda, tanto como para la organización y también para la comunidad que estamos sirviendo. Facilities for drug addicts, we're going to leave it, ex-drug addicts, all of that, because all of that, we're dealing with people sometimes with mental health issues and they have drug problems. And that's also something that happens in the population of homeless people, those that are impoverished and those hungry. A lot of them also are drug addicts. So having places for them to go to be helped, that is also within the scope of the 343 initiative. And other community-based centers or houses for the purpose of providing outreach programs like 343, right? Services and spiritual guidance, we'll leave it there. Workshops, day and summer camps, vacation Bible school. Okay, the summer camp suffices for the 343. The church can stay with its vacation Bible school. Assist community initiatives in health, science, culture, and education, and all other purposes allowed under any state statute. So that is there. We're going to leave this here. You never know the different applications of 343, where it would lead us in certain areas that are similar to what the church does. En muchas áreas no sabemos todavía cómo el 343 se desenvuelve en un lugar, pero queremos tener disponible lo mismo que tiene la iglesia en términos de poder dirigirse a personas en las prisiones, because we can provide some preventative or preparatory classes, right? For people that are just about ready to leave incarceration, para las personas que ya están puestos, listos para salir de las prisiones. Podemos entonces con esto aquí entrar a las prisiones para preparar a esas personas para salir y no quedarse en la calle, desalojados, y todo eso, asegurar que de la prisión no salen a ser parte de problemas, right? So we want to be able to go into the prisons and especially the third world countries, because it's bad enough you live free and you guys are impoverished. Then you got these guys coming out of the prison. I mean, it's just ridiculous, okay? So if we can get into the prison and prepare them and be prepared ourselves in community to receive these former prisoners, former incarcerated individuals, and they're already prepared to get into society and become productive and be standing on their own two feet. That would be great. So 343, again, we're looking at every possible venue and pathway to the issues, right? So we're trying to prevent issues as well. The financial recovery workshop is a preventative measure as well. So we're covering all the bases here. Nosotros estamos cubriendo todo lo base. Tenemos el taller sobre la recuperación financiera. Aquí estamos entrando a las prisiones para preparar a aquellos que van a salir pronto y estar listos nosotros. Cuando tú sales, tal día, vamos a estar nosotros listos, preparados para recibir a esa persona, recogerlo y saber que tienen lugar donde ir, van a tener algo para hacer o un trabajo esperándole o el proceso de 343, algo, pero no van a salir de la prisión a nada, right? So we're not going to allow that. So we're going to get into the prisons. Is one of the things 343 is going to do is get into the prisons and, position itself as a gateway to return to community life. So that's one of the things that 343 is going to really have to pay attention to, so that we can prevent more additional problems in the social ills coming from the prison system. Okay, so that's what we want to do. So yo creo que esto es un fantástico plan de estar en las prisiones para que cuando la persona salga nosotros como guía administrativo, cuando la persona salga, para que tenga alojamiento, tenga dirección, tenga ocupación, etcétera, etcétera, que esté prevenido ellos entrar a la población en necesidad, right? So we don't want them entering into the needy population, into our clientele. We want them already there on their way, to establishment and getting themselves together. Así que eso es una necesidad preventiva. Funeral homes are not needed for the 343. It's a little too late to help that fellow, right? At that point. Hospitals in a slight way. Los hospitales en un modo, porque hay gente que llegan, son pobres, because it's a way for us to find out if a person is having some financial issue. Now they're in the hospital. Now things are going to be happening. Things can happen after their hospital stay. The families may become homeless because the breadwinner is in the hospital laid up for a month or two. So we want to be there, and we want to know, okay, how's your family doing? You're here in the hospital. Who's taking care of your family? How are the finances? We need to know, because what we don't want to happen is for this family, because of this hospitalization, they end up homeless, and now we keep this poverty, homeless, and hunger cycle getting fueled by us not paying attention to the entry points. This is an entry point to it. Estos son entradas al problema de la pobreza, del hambre y del desalojamiento. Alguien está en el hospital, él es el único que trabaja, está ahí un mes, 2 meses. Tenemos que saber qué está pasando. ¿Quién está cuidando a la familia? ¿Qué son las circunstancias? Sí, para que restaurar esa familia lo más pronto posible, para prevenir que desalojamiento, right? It's usually the first thing that happens. There's no money, they can't pay the rent, they can't pay the mortgage, because you don't need, this is not an issue of just poor folk. It's just the circumstances, because a rich person can also fall into a problem. The hospital, I've seen the other day, I was looking at some properties, and the properties was taken in default of a medical bill. So it's people who are losing their homes, losing their properties because they got sick. When do you know you're going to get sick? You don't know that. Here you go, you own a piece of property, you have real estate. Hey, you're a real estate investor, but then you get sick, and guess what? You lose everything. See, so people don't know. I know it's a older gentleman, and he lost all his properties because his wife got sick. He had to sell everything to pay the bills. He's an honorable man, So, and then what does he have now? Nothing. So I'm talking in general terms here. But that happens to people all the time. The hospital bill will get, if nothing else gets you, the hospital bill will get you. And I'm just letting you know. So a lot of people, you put things in your name, you want to have things in your name, and I got my own house, I got my own property. The hospital says, very good, very good. Because you cannot control when you get sick or get hospitalized for any reason. You can't control that. That's one thing that you won't be able to control. And you own the property, you own this and that. Goodbye. So you lose it. Así que, and then you'll be needing 343 initiative, even here in the United States. Okay, this is not a thing of poor people. This is not a thing of just for third countries. This is real. This is everybody's life here. Así que estas son cosas reales. Esto va a tocar a todo el mundo. Los que viven en los Estados Unidos, también los que viven en otros países. Esto es serio. Y esto está pasando siempre. So, again, what we want to do is we want to be able to get in and prevent these things from happening. We can do it. Nosotros podemos prevenir que estas circunstancias convierten en entrada de estas personas y familias a la comunidad problemática. No lo digo en una forma negativa, estoy hablando de esas personas que necesitan ayuda. Pero podemos prevenir que ellos entran a ese demográfico. So we want to do that. So we want to visit governmental correctional facilities, hospitals, and any other facility facility or institution, either private or government run, where individuals and or their families, which would include the military, right? Or their families are exposed to risk of entry to the problem demographic addressed by the mission of this organization, and then namely, again, I'll fix the namely hunger, homelessness, and poverty. Okay, so that covers everything possible that we may be thinking about now or may develop in the future, where a situation, because of the situation, can cause a family or an individual to lose their financial footing, their stability, and end up, homeless or in hunger and hungry and in poverty. So we have to not allow we have a flood, and that's what people have to understand. Lo que está pasando, hay que entender que tenemos aquí un diluvio. Tenemos aquí que está todo mojado, está todo inundado. Hay aquí una inundación. There's a flood here, okay? And we have to stop the water, the leak. See, before you deal with the flood, you need to find the leak. Nosotros, antes de bregar con la inundación, tenemos que identificar el liqueo. El liqueo viene de las prisiones, viene del hospital, de las circunstancias de la vida, de diferentes lugares. So this leaking comes from the hospitals, comes from the prisons. Okay, these are two sources of people that their finances will be stressed or already stressed, or eliminated, or non-existent. Son dos comunidades, and there's others. That's why I said any other thing, because there's things we don't even know about right now, where people get involved in, and then they're having issues. Maybe some people that got tied up into some drug rehab program. Also, same thing. It's almost like a prison. Same type of thing. You're away from being able to work. You can't. You got sick. You got drugged out. Did the wrong thing. You're out of commission. How do we get, you're going to be released? Okay, now you're okay. We cleaned your hair, and now go out into the street. What am I going to do? I don't know. Because that's what happens. All these people have to leave, and where are they leaving to? What do they have? Así que mucha gente tienen droga, están en droga, tienen otros problemas, borrachos, y entonces después que lo limpian, lo arreglan, entonces lo dice, ya, tu tiempo terminado. I've seen even, oh my goodness, this is crazy. See, I've been so long in this type of thing. I've seen it. I've seen people in other organizations' solutions, other homeless programs, right? But the homeless program has like a limit. Oh, man. I'm telling you, they got a limit. And then the person has to leave. Oh, they're homeless. So what's the point? You understand? How can you have a homeless program, but the person has to leave after X amount of days? So you're making them homeless after X amount. See, it's very inefficient. That's what's happening. It's a cycle. Because, of course, there's other people that help. So they go out for a while. They get new people in. Then they go out, and then that old guy has to come back in again. It's like a vicious cycle. When is this going to end? Nosotros, yo he visto en mis años ya trabajando con estas cosas, que hay límites a los programas de desalojamiento, por ejemplo. Hay límites. Solo pueden estar en ese sitio por tanto día. Y después tienen que salir. Entonces, ¿a dónde van a ir? ¿Qué tienen? Nada. Yo he oído, a mí me llaman, me han llamado, oh pastor, que estoy aquí en un programa de desalojados y tengo aquí un apartamentito, pero necesito desalojarlo al fin de la semana. No sé dónde voy a ir. It's just ridiculous. Es ridículo lo que están haciendo. So this is happening all over the place. That's why we don't get rid of this issue. When I say that scope, ¿cómo se dice? En su perfil, I'm just guessing and making a word in Spanish that I don't even know they even exist. Pero su comprensión y su perspectiva, hay límites. Tienen que salir después de tanto día, tienen que salir. So, entonces, that's it. So, and we understand, in one of our core programs, yes, there is a time limit, but the time limit is on us. Okay? It's not on them, it's on us to ensure that things are done. They have to be done. In other words, these are things that have to happen, period. Así que nosotros tenemos un límite, pero en nuestros programas, pero el límite es a nosotros, no al cliente. So, el cliente nunca debe de pasar por un momento de estrés porque se le termina el tiempo, sino que el estrés lo lleva a nosotros. Porque nosotros tenemos que hacer ciertas cosas con el cliente para cierto tiempo, punto. Y tienen que hacerlo y punto ya. Okay, so we are the ones who have the burden of limiting our actions. In other words, the time that we have to ensure that certain things are done to help this population. So, los límites están puestos sobre nosotros, sobre nuestros voluntarios, para que ellos hagan lo que tienen que hacer para esto, ayudar a esta persona. No es un límite sobre la persona. So, but again, I've seen this done. It's a shame. It really is. I don't judge the organization. I'm not judging them. I'm not condemning them, necessarily like that, but it's sad. You're dealing with people who have limited resources, limited abilities. And for you to impose a limit on them. And who imposes the limit? Now, the organizations will tell me, no, but that's the government. It's a government program. So they're the ones who have limited. See, but I'm sure, that's where it all breaks around. That's why you can't depend on the government. Because what the government should do is not impose the limit on the client. It should be imposed on the organization. I'm sure it's that way. I'm sure. But the organization doesn't receive any more money, so then this guy has to leave. That is what's happening, and that's the sad part of it. Así que yo entiendo muy bien lo que está pasando. Lo que está pasando es que estos programas están fundados, están cobrando del gobierno para proveer al cliente, vamos a decir, 30 días de alojamiento. Y después de los 30 días ya no pagan. No lo están diciendo que tienen que sacarlo, pero eso es lo que están haciendo. So, esa es lo triste. Eso es lo que está pasando. Because they're not otherwise they're not helping the person. Yeah, they got them off the street. This is just a shelter program. So we just get them off the street. Again, it's a band-aid. It doesn't solve the problem, folks. Así que estos programas son vendaje. Son para sacar a la persona de la calle. Aquí hay una cama donde dormir. Aquí por 30 días. Y después, porque ya no hay más dinero de gobierno para esos 30, para ese cliente, pues ya tienen que irse. Esos son vendajes, no hay solución. Nuestro programa soluciona. Period. de nosotros terminan ya con esa pobreza, de la miseria, del hambre y del desalojamiento. Eso es ended. Okay? That is the difference with our program than most of the others. Most of the others are inefficient, and they're just causing the problem. They're just transferring a hot potato. That's what it is. Se han convertido el problema de esta gente a un papa caliente, y solamente pasan el papa caliente, después de 30 días lo pasan al otro. Y los otros tienen la papa caliente por 30 días, entonces lo pasa al otro. Eso es lo que está pasando. Esta gente, todo el mundo está cobrando con el papa caliente. That's it. So everyone's getting their money, the government funded program, with the hot potato. But 30 days, gotta move it because we need the other hot potato to keep the money coming in. That's what's going on. That's what the government has done here. Eso es lo que el gobierno ha hecho. Nosotros tenemos la solución. We have the solution. We have a better solution than the government has ever been able to do, because again, we're following what God says to do. Nosotros estamos siguiendo lo que Dios dijo. El gobierno, no dependemos del gobierno. We're not depending on the government to fix this. This is something that God has already told us how to fix. And the government is not involved. He didn't talk to the government. God wasn't talking to the government. God was talking to you and to me. Así que Dios no estaba hablando al gobierno. Dios está hablando a ti y a mí. Nosotros tenemos que arreglar esto. We're the ones that have to fix it. And Lord, amen. And Lord gave us the ability to do that. And we're doing it. We're doing it, and we're going to do it in a big way. Nosotros nos dio la habilidad de hacerlo. Nosotros lo vamos a hacer. All right. So I guess you can see here how the bases are being covered. Entry points are being covered. These are not the only entry points, but they are significant entry points. We can even go into, under that statement, other facility or institution, either private, is also including businesses. So now, so now the 343 actually has an opening to businesses where we can go in and again make sure that the employees are doing the right things financially, that they're shielded from falling into a problem, and that we're able to know or be informed when one of the employees is heading into trouble. You see? So that is really important too, because a lot of people work. There are a lot of people who are working even now who are homeless. And the people where they work don't even know. They don't even know that so and so is homeless. Hay gente que están trabajando ahorita que son desalojados. Y los trabajadores, los compañeros de trabajo no saben. ¿Sí? Pero están trabajando, están luchando y en silencio están sufriendo. They're suffering in silence. Right? And that's happening. So at the employment areas, at the jobs, private businesses, the 343 wants to go in there at least to provide a training, a workshop, that the company, sponsors, just to make sure that everyone's okay. You know what? Everyone's okay. If you're having some issue tying, making ends meet and stuff like that, come and talk to us. We'll be at the table in the back. Stuff like that. So we can do that even in companies. So nosotros adentro de las compañías pueden patrocinar un taller nuestro o nuestra presencia. De vez en cuando entramos a la compañía, hablamos con los trabajadores para averiguar qué problemas hay, quién está teniendo problemas de vez en cuando, y podemos tratar sobre eso para prevención y también curación, o sea, dirigirnos a alguien que tiene un problema que nadie supo. Puede venir a nosotros calladito allá atrás y pedir información y nosotros hablamos. Ok, usted está teniendo un problema, usted está desalojado, nadie sabe. Ok, está bien. Usted va y entra aquí, está tarde, usted después de trabajo vaya para acá, whatever, y te situamos. This is the way we want it to work. We want to prevent people suffering in silence. Nosotros queremos prevenir a la gente que sufren en silencio. Y después, no dicen nada, no hay un alcance para ellos. They don't say anything. There's no outreach to them. And then it's like too late, right? When they finally, open their mouths to say something, it's like too late. So we want to break down those barriers of shame and embarrassment, all that silly stuff. Really, really stupid. It's stupidity. This society suffers for stupidity. Esta sociedad sufre por ser bruto. Y todo es crítica, todo es, you got people criticizing, judging. Hey, look at his hair, look at Fatso, look at this one, look at that one. Oh, he's poor, he don't have money. You make society impossible to live in. Ustedes hacen de la sociedad imposible vivir. My goodness, I had to say that. Man, I had to say darn, I think it's bad. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I say some bad words, it's bad. I don't know. I learned Spanish from the street, so you got to watch out with me in my Spanish translation. Yo aprendí español en la calle, okay? So, así que alguna traducción mía en español son callejeras. Pero entiende que es que ustedes hacen esta sociedad imposible. Siempre critican, están hablando, criticando a la persona, haciendo la vida imposible a la gente. They make living impossible because it's always looking, what is he doing? Mind your business, do something to help. Because we got to change that attitude. That's the big thing about this. The big job of 343 Initiative is changing attitude, and that's the hardest job to do. El trabajo fuerte aquí es cambiando las actitudes, y cambiando actitudes es el gran trabajo aquí. Changing attitudes, because those attitudes are what cause the problem. Las actitudes son lo que causan los problemas. So that's what we're trying to eliminate. We have to educate. It's a lot of education that needs to be had. All right. So, we're going to create positions here. Let me just put that down here. We're going to create positions, offices. I guess we could put titles there. Titles and roles as the organization deems necessary, according to its constitution, to hire or procure the services of competent administrators, managers, and other key personnel with or without compensation to provide structure, processes, and ensure faithful operation and fulfillment of this organization's goals, mission, and goals. Okay. Now that other statement will stay in place there and needed by the organization. Just changing church to organization here. Cambiando referencia a la iglesia a organización. Organización. Esto es sobre la disposición de las cosas, los andamios de la iglesia, en este caso de la iglesia, pero en esta aplicación ahora de la organización. It also gives us the authority to purchase lands and real property in order to accomplish some of the purposes. Another instrument and non-profit. So we'll this again with the corporation law. We'll just leave that there, just depending on where it gets incorporated and whatnot. To engage in any and all activities which is necessary for the accomplishment purpose of which incidental thereto or connected with, consistent first is non-profit. So this is a needed statement there. All right. Now I want to read the final part. Now this is not everything. I'm going to go in. Let's see how much time I got here. I may be able to do this, but I'm going to read you at the ending what's at the end of the document. 343 Initiative is an open membership organization admitting interested individuals, organizations, businesses, and governmental agencies with a concern for the poor, the hungry, and homeless to join together to seek a comprehensive solution to these issues within their respective domains. And let me just make that one word. Within their respective domains of authority and purview. Okay. No, this would be. And this is your. All right, see, I finally got the spelling right. Así que es una organización de miembros admitiendo individuos interesados, organizaciones, negocios, businesses can be involved, negocios también pueden unirse, agencias de gobierno también pueden unirse, governmental agencies can also associate themselves and work in cooperation with us. That is fine. Con agencias gubernamentales con una misión, una preocupación para los pobres, los hambrientos y los desalojados, para unirse juntos a buscar solución comprensiva a estos asuntos en sus dominios respectivos de autoridad y supervisión. Now, so this again is the general statement of the membership and working together even with government parties. With partners and allies, 343 Initiative acts in solidarity with people living in poverty, homeless populations, and the hungry in order to resolve their issues, notwithstanding other political or religious pressures that may exert injustice and inequality. So no importando otra presión de político o de modo o de ende religioso que pueden exigir injusticia e inequalidad, la 343 busca estar en solidaridad con las personas viviendo en pobreza, en miseria, en desalojados, en poblaciones de desalojamiento y a los ambientes para resolver sus problemas. Unlike other organizations, we do not antagonize against governments or religious cultural situations which may exacerbate these conditions, but unite to provide permanent and overwhelming relief. So this is what we're doing. Nosotros no antagonizamos contra gobiernos ni contra situaciones religiosas, culturales, que pueden ser causa o causante, exacerbación de estas condiciones. Pero unimos a proveer solución o alivio permanente y sobresaliente. This is permanent and overwhelming relief. Okay, this is what the 343 initiative, again, through our core technologies, we're able to provide permanent and overwhelming relief. Okay? That's how we know that we're solving this, because what we have the ability to do is overwhelming. We can overwhelm these situations because you already see that we're stopping the leaking. See? Because this is all well thought out. Nosotros ya, usted está viendo que nosotros ya pensamos bien esta cosa, ya estamos preveniendo los liqueos. Y la solución que nosotros tenemos es sobresaliente, es muy, muy comprensiva. So that nosotros podemos proveer una solución. La solución que tenemos es total y completo. So we have a total and complete solution here. I know in the other statement it says to seek, but that's really the other people. We don't need to seek. We got it. But the other folks joining us, the businesses, the government agencies, the other organizations and individuals, they're seeking to find a comprehensive solution. We got it. Okay, so it's not us that we're doing. It's they. They are coming to us to seek it. You see, because we have it. Ellos, se mencionó aquí que estamos uniéndonos para buscar solución comprensiva. No es que 343 no la tenga, nosotros tenemos la solución comprensiva, sino que los que vienen a asociarse con nosotros son los que están buscando esa solución, porque la realidad es que nosotros tenemos la solución permanente y sobresaliente, muy, muy eficaz. So we have a permanent overwhelming relief through our own resources and in combination with the full complement of partners who are all resolved to end these conditions wherever this organization addresses populations in need. Así que nosotros con nuestros socios, los que vienen, los negociantes, los negocios, las agencias que vienen a unirse con nosotros, estamos todos comprometidos resolver el problema. See? So we're getting together to resolve. We're not getting together to have a band-aid. Because what's happening is that all these other organizations, they get together or they have coalitions. But it's just really, each one has a band-aid. We can have our band-aid, you help us put our band-aid, we'll help you put your band-aid. So everything about band-aid, we're resolving this. This is resolved. Nosotros estamos solucionando el problema aquí. Okay? Entonces los que vienen a nosotros, los que se unen con nosotros, tienen que comprometerse a resolver. Esto es resolver, no es vendaje. So we're coming together not to provide a band-aid. We're coming together to resolve this. This is done. This is going to be ended. Okay? That is the resolve that we have. The solution we have does it. But it needs our resolve. So we need people to come to resolve. That's it. Nosotros tenemos la solución. Necesita las personas que vengan a resolver. No a acomodarse a un vendaje. So we're not accommodating to a bandage. We're seeking only resolution, period. That is what we're doing. Estamos buscando la solución, la resolución, punto. No estamos buscando acomodidad. No estamos buscando lo suficiente, sino solución, punto. So we're not looking for any convenience or what's good enough, or what's okay, this is okay, this is no, we're looking for solution. We're doing the solution, we're resolving this issue. So that's what we're doing, okay? In our core technology, we're able to go all to the extreme that we need to. So that's what we have. But it's necessary that the people who join this initiative have the same resolve that we do. Así que es necesario, nosotros podemos, a través de nuestra tecnología central, podemos ir a todo el extremo para eliminar este problema. Pero se necesita que los que trabajan con nosotros tengan dispuesto la resolución también. Esa es nuestra mentalidad. So our mentality is solving. It's not just helping them get along and helping them to go by day to day. We're not doing that. We're solving this, and this isn't done. This is done. Nosotros no estamos buscando ayudar a una persona por un día o por 30 días. Nosotros estamos buscando terminar con esto. All right. So that's the big difference in the 343 initiative. Here we have certain countries and blah, blah, blah. We hope to be getting into, and the 343 is an initiative, is a development, educational, relief, and networking organization that works with others to implement structures in society as a catalyst for lasting solutions to poverty, homelessness, and hunger around the world. El 343 es una iniciativa, es un desarrollamiento educacional, alivio y organización de red que trabaja con otros para implementar estructuras en la sociedad como no sé decir esto en español, como tengo que buscar ese en español que es, como una fuente para soluciones permanentes a la pobreza, desalojamiento y el hambre alrededor del mundo, okay? And as part of its program, Work 343 initiative offers governments, organizations, and the general public workshops and strategic development projects and documentation. Así que el cuerpo de trabajo de esta organización va a ser de proveer a gobiernos, organizaciones y al público en general talleres y proyectos de desarrollo estratégica y la documentación. So at its core, the 343 initiative is at its core is educational. But like I said, we have the core technologies, actually a practical solution, which is, in other words, we have what they need as the solution. But most of our work in society, because of what's happening, is a lot of work has to be prevention. And then we have people coming out into society who were, sick or in prison or whatnot. That is also part of that preventive measure. There's a lot of structure for education. Then you have the businesses, people employed that are running slowly, day by day, week by week, paycheck by paycheck into a trouble area. So there's a lot of education. So there's more people to educate, a lot more people to educate than there are people who are poor, homeless, and hungry. You see that? So lo que pasa, la razón que esta organización es más educacional es porque hay mucho más personas que necesitan la educación para prevenir, para entrenarse, para ayudar, etcétera, etcétera. Porque hay muchas más personas que necesitan la educación que las personas que están desalojados con hambre y pobres. O sea, mucho más gente que necesitan la educación que la aplicación de nuestra tecnología. So that is the reason that the organization takes an educational posture. Okay, but it doesn't mean, and by no means, that we only come with teaching. Of course not. We got the solution. We have the practical solution. Okay, but we're going to be teaching more people than we are helping people, because there are more people to teach than there are people to help. That's real. That's literally the truth. And because the new people going into homelessness, poverty, hunger are people that were okay before. You got to understand that they were okay before, but they weren't given the education they needed. Así que la mayoría de personas que entran a ser pobres, desalojados y con hambre eran gente normales antes, o sea, en la demográfica general. Pero lo que pasa es que nadie le educó. Entonces llegaron a ese extremo. So, nosotros, como digo, prevención. La prevención, una onza de prevención vale más que una libra de curación. Right? So, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. So, to prevent more people coming into this demographic of need, there's a whole lot of teaching that needs to be had, a lot of education to get people, out of a problem area. And so that is where 343 is going to have a lot of its effort. And the reason I'm going to be developing all of that mostly. Now, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to end it here. Next week, we're going to give you the 343. Exactly what 343 is. Why that graphic. I started out today's teaching with some explanation of it, but next week when we get together, I'm going to get into the nitty-gritty of the 343 and why I came up with the 343 initiative. La semana que viene voy a entrar a lo que significa el 343 y cómo es que ese símbolo se manifiesta en esta solución a la pobreza, al hambre y al desalojamiento. Y eso vamos a hablar la semana que viene. Again, everything I'm going to tell you, although it's going to be very informative, it does not include the secret sauce. So, todo lo que voy a decir, aunque hay mucha información, no va a ser el formulario secreto, o sea, la tecnología central que hablo de vez en cuando, que es lo que asegura que esto trabaja, ¿ok? Pero le voy a demostrar, desnudar la organización para que usted vea qué es la amplitud y el esfuerzo que 343 va a tener, el impacto que va a tener sobre la sociedad y esta vida, este mundo. So you're going to see next week the impact, because I'm going to break down this organization for you. You're going to see how this organization makes its impact, is able to provide prevention and application of solution. Although we're not going to get into the core technology of the solutions, you're going to get some of the impact from the description of what I'm going to tell you. And you're going to see that this is the effective way. Usted va a ver que es la manera efectiva, but without that other part that is what really makes everything absolute. Así que lo voy a enseñar sin la parte que haga la solución absoluta, right? So, pero lo va a tener la idea de lo que es la organización la semana que viene. So join us next week. Again, we thank you for joining us today. Damos gracias por ustedes venir y estar compartir con nosotros hoy día. And next week we'll get into more details. 343. Join us for next week. Don't miss, because next week really we get into the nitty gritty of the 343. Now, la semana que viene vamos a entrar, no lo falten, a los detalles de 343, qué es lo que significa, cómo elabora esta misión que hemos descrito hasta ahorita. Next week will be more graphical. I'm going to make some boxes and some arrows, and it's going to be more of a, breaking down things and flow chart so that you guys can see and comprehend what the 343 is all about. So that'll be next week. La semana que viene vamos a tener el dibujo y las flechas y detalles de qué es el proceso, un chart, una gráfica del proceso de 343, y eso es lo que voy a estar elaborando la semana que viene. So join us for that next week. Again, we are breaking down the latest advancement of our church ministry. Estamos detallando el avance de nuestra iglesia, nuestro ministerio, a través de este esfuerzo mundial de 343, que es la solución sobresaliente de la pobreza, el hambre y el desalojamiento. So this is the solution for hunger, homelessness, and poverty. And we invite you to come and look and also consider participating in one way or another. y también que considera participando de una manera u otra. Una manera de participar es a través de su donativo en esta hora. There's one way for you to participate, and that is with your contribution at this hour to this ministry. Una manera que tú puedes participar es su donativo en esta hora hacia este ministerio. Take a moment and be part of a worldwide solution for hunger, poverty, and homelessness. Do that for your fellow man. Hazlo para su prójimo. So somebody would be asking, what is your church doing? And this is it. What are you doing now? Algunos preguntan qué tu iglesia está haciendo para que vale la pena, y yo digo, ahora qué es lo que usted lo vio, usted lo está viendo ahora, y qué es lo que están haciendo ustedes. ¿Qué haces tú ahora? Haga su contribución ahora.